Hi, this is your host Habibur Rahman, and welcome to my show Azure Essential Series. In today's episode, we will talk about Azure Virtual Machines. Azure VMs are our versatile and powerful component of Microsoft Azure's infrastructure as a service offering. They provide on-demand scalable computing resources that can be used for a variety of applications, from simple development and testing to running complex high-performance workloads. So let's start this. First of all, uh, this is the agenda of our today episode. We will talk about few key components of Azure Virtual Machines. We will understand virtual machine types and slices by Microsoft Azure. Then we will move to Azure Portal where we will create Azure Virtual Machine, and then we will done few configuration related to RDP and port rules. Then we will talk about scaling virtual machines. So let's start this. This is your host, Habibur Rahman. I'm two times C Sharp Corner MVP, Microsoft Certified Solution Developer, and currently working as a lead software developer at Now Software. First of all, the Azure virtual machines are scalable and flexible. Azure virtual machines can be quickly scaled up or scaled down based on your business needs. This ensures you have the right number of computing power all the time, helping to optimize cost and performance. And a wide range of virtual machine sizes and types are available to support different workloads, including general purpose, compute oriented, memory optimized, and storage optimized VMs. Then we have high availability and reliability. Azure ensures high availability with features such as availability sets and availability zones. These features distribute virtual machines across multiple physical servers, compute racks, storage units, and network switches to reduce the risk of downtime. Built-in redundancy and fault tolerance mechanism help maintain continuous operation and minimize disruption. Then we have comprehensive security control. Azure VMs come with built-in security features, including network security group, firewalls, encryption, and Azure Security Center. These features help us to protect your data and application from threats and vulnerabilities. Integration with Azure Active Directory enables us robust identity and access management. Then we have customization and control. Uh, in Azure Virtual Machines, you have full administrative control over the virtual machine, allowing you to choose the operating system, install and run software, and configure the virtual machine according to your requirements. It also supports for a variety of operating systems, including multiple distributions of Linux and all supported versions of Windows Server. We have integration with other Azure services. Virtual machines integrate seamlessly with other Azure services such as Azure Storage, Azure Backup, Azure Networking, and more. This enable you to build comprehensive cloud solution. So Azure provides powerful tools like Azure Monitor, Azure Log Analytics, and Azure Automation to help manage and monitor your VMs effectively. Then we have Azure virtual machine sizes and types. First of all, general purpose virtual machines. So this type of virtual machines are basically balanced CPU to memory ratio. They are ideal for development, testing, and small to medium databases. And the sizes which are available are B series, D5 series and D4 series. These are general purpose types of Azure virtual machines. Then we have compute optimized types where high CPU to memory ratio is available, and this type is suitable for medium traffic web servers, network appliances, batch processes. Then we have memory optimized type where high memory to CPU ratio is available, and it's best for relational database servers, medium to large caches, in-memory analytics. So these are best for the application where you need a lot of memory, and memory optimization is very important for you. Then we have storage optimized. This provide high disk throughput and input operations. It's ideal for big data, SQL and NoSQL databases, and also best for data warehousing. Then we have GPU optimized type. So this one is basically optimized for heavy graphics rendering and video editing. It's suitable for model training and inferencing with deep learning simulations. Then we have high performance compute. This one is optimized for intensive compute workloads, and this type of virtual machines are best for applications like molecular binding, where we need a lot of computer performance, simulation, and other HPC workloads. So these are high performance virtual machine types. Then we have confidential compute. This category provide security level, dedicated security level virtual machines, where you don't have to be worried about the security threats which are related to your hardware type things. So let's start this. First of all, we will create Azure Virtual Machine using Azure Portal. We will also try to understand the basic configurations. Then we will enable RDP access, and we will access our server using Windows Desktop app. So let me share my screen and let's start this. Okay. So I hope you can see my screen. I already have created one account on Azure. So if you don't have an account, you can create a free trial account on Azure. So first of all, click on create a resource, or you can directly select a virtual machine here. So I will go from here. The first option is virtual machine because it's the most popular service provided by Microsoft. So let's click on create button. Okay, so here is the basics of Azure Virtual Machine configuration. So first of all, we need to select subscription, and subscription is like grouping your resources. So I already have one subscription named AES, so I will be using that. But if you are interested to create a new subscription, you can click on this link, and this will help you to create a new subscription. Then we need to specify virtual machine name, and basically this name should be unique inside your subscription. So I will say it uh, AES VM, Azure Essential Series Virtual Machine. Then we need to select the region. Basically, this option will tell the Azure where you want to deploy your virtual machine. So if I will select East US, my virtual machine will be running on East US zone. Then we have availability options. So these availability options are for resilience of your application, for architecture of your application. It basically tells whether you want to duplicate your virtual machine on different physical zones, or you want to distribute your machine on hardware level distribution. So these are different options available. So for my case, I will select no infrastructure redundancy required because I am just doing it for testing purpose. Then we have security type. The first one standard is basic level security for your virtual machine, and then the trusted launch virtual machine. Basically, this protects against persistent and advanced attacks on Gen 2 virtual machines. So this basically provide you TPM level security module access. Then we have confidential virtual machines. These are the top of trusted virtual machines. for higher confidentiality and integrated granted with hardware based trusted execution environment. But for our case, we will select the standard one. Then we have the image option. Here you can select the image yet that you want to deploy on your Azure virtual machine. So here you can see we have available all the uh, Windows variants, and also available all the Linux distributions. So, for example, in my case, I will select Windows Server 2016 so that later on we can access it using RDP. Uh, so these are a lot of images available. If your desired image is not showing here, you can click on the see all images option, and here these are all the images that you can use on your virtual machine. For example, I'm interested in Windows Server, and if I click on this option, this will show you me all the available things. So let's go back to the again create blade, and I have selected Windows Server 2016. The next option is virtual machine architecture. There are two options available, ARM64 and x64. As this is my Windows image, so only x64 is currently available against my selected image. So that's why I will select this one. Then there is option run with Azure Spot Discount. So basically, this provide a little bit discount on your Azure virtual machine. If we see the description of this, basically Azure Spot offers unused Azure capacity at a discounted rates. So basically, if someone else have created any virtual machine and few capacity is available, so Azure will provide you that capacity, which means your virtual machine will be shared. So that's why the rate will be reduced per hour. So I will not select this option. Then we have size option. Here are all the hardware sizes for your virtual machines which are available. If I click on see all the sizes, so you can see that there are a lot of series which are available, and there are multiple types for Azure virtual machines as well. And so currently these are showing the general purpose virtual machines. Uh, Azure is basically asking me to wait to load this page. So let's see this, it will be loaded in few seconds. So you can see that there are different virtual machines available. You can see we have D series, B series, we have E series, and each series have uh, different needs. Basically, E series provide you fourth generation family E family sizes for your high memory needs. So this is basically memory optimized types. Then we have D series. D series are basically for general purpose needs. So these are currently Azure is giving me one error. So I will move back to my previous page. Uh, I think there is some bug in Azure Blade, so it's asking me to wait again. Okay, I think let's refresh this page. We have to re-enter our virtual machine detail, but that's okay. So look like there is something JavaScript error in Azure. So we're asking for wait. Let me open another tab instead of wasting time on this. So step up starts working, but it reloaded all the pages. So let's wait for Azure Check. Let me upload that. Will ask me again for sign in maybe, but that's okay. Okay. So let's start it again. Um, I have to switch my directory because I just reloaded. So let me switch my directory. Okay, this one. Okay. Okay, now let's create again the virtual machine. So create Azure virtual machine option. Azure is again showing me the same blade. So let's select the option which I selected before. Okay, no infrastructure dependency and then Windows 16 server. So all these options are selected default. Okay, so here is the size of your virtual machine. So these are all standard size available here. You can see that the first one is DS1V2. This provide 1 vCPU, means virtual CPU, then 3.5 gigabyte memory, and the rate will be 91.98 per month. So you can see that there are different variation of sizes available. But as we are doing this for testing purpose, so I will select the basic option. Okay, then we have administrator account credentials here. First of all, you need to put the username here, and there are few constraints on your password. For example, user name cannot contain special characters, and it must not include reserved words. So these are all available. So let's select this for me. I will say admin user. Here I need to provide a password, then confirm password. Okay, so please try to use a strong password because this is your admin account. If you will lose access to your this account, then you will not be able to access your virtual machine. Then you have to reset your password or anything bad may happen. Then we have inbound port rules. So basically here we need to select which ports are accessible from public internet to this virtual machine, and I have allowed few selected port. One is RDP. This is for remote desktop procedure. For basically, I need this port for accessing my virtual machine. Then we have HTTP port for hosting our web application. Currently, I'm just going to select RDP, and later on we will also enable 80 port as well. Then we have licensing option. So this one is basically asking me, do you have existing license for Windows Server or not? But as I don't have any license, so I will not select any of them. Then we have disk options. Basically, disk are the short-term storage disk where you need to install your virtual machine operating system, and you are where you need to store all other data which you want to store on virtual machine. So here, first of all, we need to select OS disk. Basically, on this disk, our operating system will be installed. First of all, we have different sizes of disk. We have a 128 gigabyte to 2 terabyte. So I will just select the default one, which is 127 gigabyte. Then we have disk type. So you can see that there are a lot of disk types available, and there are two main categories. One is locally redundant storage. Locally redundant storage means data will be replicated within a single data center on same Azure region. Then we have zone redundant storage, which means your data will be replicated on multiple Azure regions. I will select locally redundant storage options. Then we have three type of disk. First one is premium SSD. This one is best for production and performance sensitive workloads. We have standard SSD. This is best for web servers. And then we have standard HDD. This is the old technology. So this is best for backup because its price is this one is cheaper as compared to SSDs. But I will select standard SSD as I will be using this as a web server. Then there is option for delete VM. So basically, this option asks, so whenever you will delete your virtual machine, do you want to delete this disk with that virtual machine? So yes, I want to delete this disk. Then we have key management. So you can use different key management options for key management. Then we have enable ultra disk compatibility. So currently this option is not available against my VM size. So that's okay for now. And then you can see we have two options: attach an existing disk, create and attach a new disk. So this one was OS disk, but you also need a disk for storing your data until unless you want to store your data on the same disk. So if you have existing disk, you can select this option, and if you don't have any disk, you can create and attach a new disk. So let's create and attach a new disk. This is the default name that is okay for me. Then we have source type. So basically, which source you want to store when you will create your disk. So I want to create an empty disk. Then we have different sizes of disk available. We have so the default one is 128 gigabyte. That is okay. Then we have key management. Then enable shared disk. So for one, when I will select share disk enabled, then I will be able to use this shared disk on multiple virtual machines. But as I just want to use this disk on single virtual machine, so I will select this option. Then the same option, delete disk with VM. So I will select this, click on OK. Okay, so now you can see that a new data disk have been attached with my virtual machine. So let's click on next option. Okay, so first of all, we have a virtual network. Basically, for virtual machines, virtual network is prerequisite. So if you want to access your virtual machine, you have to use virtual network. And in that case, this one is the default name of virtual network that will be created. Here is the subnet, and then we have the public IP address. So as we are creating virtual machine, so Azure will also create a public IP for us as well. So so that we can access our virtual machine all the time. Then we have a network interface called security group. We can select this basic or none. That's up to you. Then we have public inbound ports. Currently, I just have allowed RDP. So I can select HTTP 80 port as well so that I can access my website. Then we have delete public and I see when VM is deleted. Okay, I will select this option. Then there is option for enable accelerating network. So this option will automatically decrease our latency and provide high throughput for network interface. Then we have load balancing option. So you can use load balancer with your virtual machine. For example, you have multiple virtual machines and you have hosted your application on multiple virtual machines. Then you need an Azure load balancer so that you can decide on which virtual machines you want to serve your request. But as I'm doing this for development, so I will select none. I don't need any load balancing options. Then we have a management tab. Here you can select few options. First of all, you have identity system. For example, you are using Intra ID or Azure Active Directory and you want to use that with your virtual machine. So you can select this option. Then we have enable auto shutdown. Here you can schedule the time when you want to shut down your virtual machine, and before shut downing your virtual machine, it will also send you a notification if this option is available. but I don't want to shut down my virtual machine. Then we have enable backup option. So if you will select this, basically Azure will create another service, recovery service vault, and that will be used for storing the backup of your virtual machine. So later on, I will show you how to create this after creating virtual machine. Then we have enable hot patches. Basically, sometimes your operating system provides new updates for hot patches of your image. So if you will select this option, then the hot patches will be made automatically on your operating system. But as this is not available for my image, so that's okay. So let's click on next monitoring session. Then first of all, we have enable recommended alert tools. So if I will enable this option, and I can select when Azure will generate an alert for me. For example, when percentage of CPU is greater than 80, then Azure will create an alert and tell me your CPU is going to out of computation power. And then we have memory bytes is less than 1 GB. So for example, when my memory size will be less than 1 GB, Azure will create an alert. We have other options for input output operations, consume percentage, disk input output operations, consume percentage. Then we have network in total. Then we have network out total. So these are all the metrics on which you can create Azure alerts. So I don't need this for now. Then we have diagnostics. You can enable them, and different options are available. You can also enable OS guest diagnostic, and you can also enable health monitoring. So basically, health monitoring, whenever you will enable this, Azure will automatically check the heartbeat of your Azure virtual machine. And if something is wrong or your virtual machine is not responding, Azure will notify you. So I don't need these options. So let's move to the advanced tab. So inside advanced tab, there are different options available. First of all, we have extensions. Azure provide us a lot of extensions. For example, you want to enable application inside with your Azure virtual machine. So you can select an extension and Azure will install that on your virtual machine. So and there are other options available. For example, after creating virtual machine, you want to run a custom script on your virtual machine. So you can write that script here and virtual machine or Azure will run that script on your virtual machine. Then we have performance. NVMe is basically a latest technology for your SSDs. So if you will select this option, which is currently not available, then Azure will automatically optimize your SSD and basically will be using NVMe technology, the latest one. Then we have host groups. Host groups are basically the groups of user which can manage the physical server or your virtual machines. So I don't need all of these other options. So I will move to the next tags option. So inside tags, you can create a specific tag for searching or recognizing your Azure resource. So this is available for all Azure resources. I don't need any tag. Uh, so let's move this. For example, if I need tag, I will say this VM purpose. You can put any tag. So I will just say this testing. You can select any of them. So now next move to the last section, which is review plus create. Here Azure is showing me all the selected options and the summary of my virtual machine. First of all, it is showing me my subscription and the virtual machine size. And here is the rate which will be charged from me. That is 0.126 USD per hour. That is okay for me. Uh, then we have other subscriptions option available. It is showing me public inbound ports which will be available. This is the virtual machine size, the image of the virtual machine. So all these other options are okay for me. So let's move to the next create option. Now Azure will create or deploy the virtual machine for me, and it will be available in maybe maximum 1 or 2 minutes. So let's wait for this. So currently Azure is basically submitting the deployment template and deployment in progress. So currently Azure is deploying my virtual machine. As you know, we are creating this virtual machine. So there are a lot of things which are required for this virtual machine. For example, first one is data disk. So this one will be created separately. Then we have network security group. We have public IP. So public IP is a separate service which will be created and then integrated with virtual machine. Then we have virtual network. This will be created for yes virtual machine. Then we have network interfaces. So these provide us access to our virtual machine and also enable the virtual machine to be accessible over the internet. Then the last is virtual machine itself. So all these things are required for this virtual machine to be working properly. So that's why it take a little bit time. Still, my deployment is in progress. Meanwhile, let me show you one thing. Okay, so this is Islamabad chapter on C Shop Corner, and here you can see all the upcoming events. This one is the current episode which we are hosting, and the next episode we are going to talk about harnessing the power of Azure Event Grid for event-driven application. Then we have accelerating .NET Core apps with Azure Cache, and in episode 10, we have a troubleshooting application with Azure Insight. So if you are interested to join the next episode, you can register here on C Shop Corner chapters so that you can get the notification for next episodes. So, okay, my deployment have been completed. Let's go to the resource. So currently it is showing me a warning, virtual machine agent status is not ready. So currently deployment have been completed, but still it's asking me for a few times. So you can see that it is showing me my virtual machine is running, but I think so currently it's making the virtual machine ready for running Windows Server. This is the location. Then we have subscription ID, the operating system that we have installed, the size of our virtual machine. Then we have the public IP address. So this is the public IP address that Azure provide me for accessing my virtual machine, and also I will be using this for accessing my web pages. Then this is the virtual network or the subnet that have been attached with our virtual machine. Then DNS name. So if you have a custom domain or any domain that you want to configure against this virtual machine, so you can come here and you can configure this DNS settings. So here you can see that the all properties of our virtual machines are showing here, the size of the disks, the source image details, the networking details. So all these things are available. So let's move to the connect options. So there are multiple connect options available for accessing this virtual machine. The first one is connect with RDP, native RDP. As we have deployed uh, Windows Server 2016 image, so I will be using RDP. So if I click on this select button, so currently Azure is validating the prerequisite configuration. whether I can access my virtual machine or not. And it is also validating the port, whether that 3389, the RDP port is available or not, and then the public IP address. So this is validating the requirement, and then I can download the RDP file. So instead of manually putting all the configuration, I can just click on this button, download RDP file, and click on this RDP file. Okay. First of all, Windows is asking me the publisher of this remote connection can't be identified. Do you want to connect anyway? Yes, as I have created this one, so I will select connect option. And now this is asking me for the credential. The IP address for the server is this one, and then the user is admin user. Now I need to specify the password. This is the same password that I have created when I was creating my virtual machine. So let's click on OK button. Okay, so RDP is trying to connect with my virtual machine. Okay, so as I'm using or accessing my virtual machine first time, so this will take few seconds to prepare my Windows server. Let's wait for a few more seconds to show the interface. Okay, that's great. So now you can see that I have successfully got access to my virtual machine. If I open taskbar to show you the properties of this virtual machine, if I go to performance tab, so here you can see here are my CPU details. Currently, one virtual processor is available to me because I have selected the V1 option. And if I go to the memory option, and the memory which is available to me is 3.5 gigabyte because I selected this file. And these are the Ethernet options which are available. But if you are interested to host any web application on IaaS server, so by default, IaaS is not installed on this virtual machine. But if you are interested, you can just open Server Manager, and inside Server Manager, you need to select Add Roles and Features. So it's asking me to wait for a few more seconds. Currently, it's loading. So inside add roles and features, I need to enable IAS. So then when IAS will be installed, then I will be able to access my virtual machine hosted applications. So click on add roles and feature wizard. I will move quickly without wasting time. So let's move to the next. Okay, here are server roles. Basically, the option that I need to select it web server IES. So I will select this feature web server IES. And here inside features, uh, here are all the features that you can enable or install for your virtual machine. So I already have selected IES. So currently I don't need any other features. So let's move to the next option quickly and install this. So it will take a few moments to install this, and meanwhile we can move to the Azure portal where we can see different other options which are available. First of all, we have activity log option. Here all the activities will be shown which you have, for example, uh, which you have performed on your virtual machine. For example, whenever you will perform any operation on this virtual machine, it will be logged here. Then we have access control. Here you can allow access to different users or groups, or you can assign roles to different users for accessing this virtual machine. So let's move to the next tags option. tags option basically provide all the available tags for this virtual machine. So only created one tag, which was VM purpose. So which is showing here. If you are interested to delete this tag, you can delete from here, or you can add a new tag as well here. Then we have connect option. This is the one that I have used for accessing my virtual machine native RDP. So then we have Windows Admin Center. So this is basically Windows Admin Center. It provides you free best of tools to manage Windows and Windows Server virtual machines directly within Azure. For example, there are few options which you cannot control from Azure panel, but you have to access your virtual machine. But if you want to increase the control of your virtual machine, you can install this Windows Admin Center, and then you can configure your virtual machine from inside Azure Portal. So these are options available. Then we have networking options. Here it is showing me the network interface currently, which is connected with my virtual machine. And here are all the inbound port rules. So currently, RDP port, which is 3389, and HTTP port 80. These are currently two ports which are allowed, and all other ports are basically default enabled by Azure. The one is for example, this allowed VNet inbound rule is basically allowing virtual network. Then we have Azure load balancer. So all these options are. But if you are interested to create a new port rule, you can allow a specific port from here. Then we have load balancing option. You can create a load balancer here if you have multiple Azure virtual machines. Then we have network manager. Just like Windows admin manager, if you want to increase the control of your network of the virtual machine, you can create a network manager, and it provides a lot of options related to network where you can create complex topologies, or you can enforce high priority security admin rules. So these are all options you can access from network manager. And then we have settings, and inside setting, the first one is disk. This one is showing me the disk name on which my OS is currently running. And then this is the data disk where I can store my data. So here you can change the caching setting, and you can also add a new disk from this option, create and attach a new disk. For example, you are out of storage, you are out of storage capacity, and you want to create a new disk. So you can create it from here without restarting your virtual machine. Then we have swap OS disk. If there is something wrong with your OS disk, so you can create a new OS disk, and you can swap that with the old one. So this option is also very good for scaling your OS disk. So let's move to the next option, which is extensions and application. So from these options, you can install an extension which are provided by Microsoft. For example, if you are interested to install Azure Pipeline Agent, or you want to install any other extension, for example, Microsoft Anti-Malware or Azure Key Vault for Windows, so you can install all these extensions from this option. And then we have operating system. So this one is currently showing the computer name and the administrator user and all the other options which are available. And here there is one option, licensing. So if you want to change your licensing settings, so you can change from here. Then we have configuration tab. And inside this tab, there are other just-in-time VM access settings available. So let's move to the next option, which the major option, which is size. Okay, so here you can see all the other sizes are available. And for example, if you want to scale up your virtual machine, or if you want to scale down your virtual machine, which means you want to increase the CPU power, or you want to increase the memory or the RAM power of your virtual machine, so you can do it easily from here. So the existing option which currently I'm running is DSV2 option. But for example, I'm interested in DS2V2 option, and I want to scale up my machine to two virtual CPUs and 7 GB memory. So I will select that size, and then I will click on resize button, and it is confirming whether you want to resize this virtual machine, uh, and it will cause the virtual machine to be restarted, but that's okay. So I will click on this option. Now basically Azure is scaling up my virtual machine, so this will be disconnected, and then I will access it again to see whether my virtual machine size have been increased or not. So meanwhile, let's move to other option, which is availability and scaling. So inside this option, you can scale, you can provide different availability option. For example, you want to make your virtual machine redundant on multiple zones, so you can do it from this option. Then we have a security option. The first one is identity. So if you are interested to enable the identity, so that the identity users can access your virtual machine over the intra ID. So you can enable this option as well. Then we have Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So this is basically the antivirus for security of your virtual machine. So if you are interested for this, you can enable Microsoft Defender from here as well. It's taking a little bit time to load. Let's wait for Azure to load this blade. It's taking too much time. Okay, currently it's giving me an error. Failed to resize virtual machine to standard. But if I see the error, what was wrong with it? I think so. There is my internet is not good. That's why it's taking time, or there is something wrong with Azure. So let's back. Let's try to access it again. Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So here you can see we have another a lot of options available. So this one is Microsoft Defender. So currently it's enabled, and it is showing me the recommendation and the security alerts for my virtual machine. So currently there is nothing to be worried about. So that's okay. Then we have backup option. So here you can create a backup for your application. For example, this is the existing world that I've been created, and then you need to select the policy. For example, the standard policy is that your virtual machine backup will be created once a day, and then it will be saved up to 5 days for operational PR retention. So I will select this standard option, for example, and here you can choose the backup policy, or you can create a new backup policy. And here it is showing me that my backup service will run 1 p.m. UTC time every day, and the retention time will be for 2 days of that snapshot, and the backup will be stored for 30 days. So these are all options which you can create. If you enable this backup, it will create Azure Vault service, and which that Vault service will automatically back up your virtual machine every day. So this is how you can back up your virtual machine. Then we have auto shutdown option here. If you are interested to shut down your virtual machine at night, as this is a virtual machine that I will be using just for development purpose. So you can select this option that is good to reduce the cost of your running virtual machine. Then there is option for run command. So if you want to run specific command on your virtual machine, you can use using this. So for example, if you want to run a PowerShell script, so currently my virtual machine was not running, I think so. So that's why it is running it. So if you want to run a PowerShell script, you can select this option and you can here a run button will be available after starting the virtual machine. So here you can enter your the status of application on that instance. This instance status is required to enable platform managed upgrades. So you just need to select this option, and then Azure will automatically check the health of your application on port 80 using HTTP request. So this will be basically just pinging your Azure virtual machine to validate the health of your virtual machine. So this service provide. And we also have application insights here. If you are interested to enable application insights, you can enable them from here. And we also have alert option here. If you want to add specific alert, whether for example when your network in total is greater than 500 GB, this will make an alert to you. So these are all the options which are available on Azure Virtual Machine. So I lets me access this my public IP again. If I open my virtual machine again to see whether that is up and running or not, let's run it from the downloaded profile. Basically, I have installed IIS on my Windows server, so this should be accessible. But I think my virtual machine is currently in updating status. That why I am unable to access it, and it is updating my virtual machine to two virtual CPUs. So it means currently my virtual machine is scaling up, and Azure have restarted my virtual machine. That's why I'm unable to access it. But this will be up in few more seconds. Okay, so hopefully this will be resized and my IAS will be running, and then I will be able to see the default page of my IAS. But as we are short of our time, so I think we have to uh, wind up our episode here. So okay. So you see how we create a virtual machine and how we configure RDP access, and then how we access to our Windows server from our RDP. So in we have next episode next Saturday, and in that episode we will talk about harnessing the power of Azure Event Grid for event-driven application. So if you are interested for this episode, you can join us on next Saturday 9 a.m. same time. And thank you for being the part of C Shop Corner Islamabad chapter. If you want to rewatch this video, you can access cshopcorner.com/live/Azure Essential Series. You can see the recorded videos from C Shop Corner Live, And if you want to access the previous episode code, you can access my GitHub account, Habib Developer slash Azure Essential series. And thank you so much again for being the part of C Shop Corner Islamabad chapter. Hopefully, see you in next episode and have a good day.